Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Will and welcome to Copper Jacket TV. Hopefully everybody out there is doing well. So we actually have a really big problem on our hands here. As I'm sure you all know, gun control is a very slippery slope. If you give an inch, they'll take a mile. Believe it or not, there was actually a time in this country, and your grandparents will probably remember it, when gun control didn't even really exist. People were free to do what they wanted. I don't know if you've seen those old Sears and Roebuck's catalogs, but those were the good old days. And I honestly wish we could get back to that. I mean, it's our right after all. But that all changed when people in this country decided to accept even the smallest amount of gun control. From then on, it's been this downward spiral with anti-gun groups asking for more and more. And if we just give them one more concession, that'll fix whatever problem needs fixing. And then when it doesn't, of course, well, now they want even more. Well, that's kind of what happened when Glock caved to pressure from these groups. Right or wrong, good or bad, however you see it, that's essentially what happened. But no matter how we see it, these groups saw it as a win. Well, now they're capitalizing on that win by going after even more. They got their inch and now they're looking for their mile by going after yet another major manufacturer and telling them to stop production immediately. So let's go ahead and talk about who it is and what these groups are demanding now. Okay, so let's go and talk about what's going on here. So I personally think that Glock caving to pressure opened up Pandora's box. It showed groups like Everytown that if you apply enough pressure and get enough states on board like California, you could crack even the largest of giants. So with that being said, Everytown now has its eyes set on Ruger, specifically the RXM. The RXM is a Gen 3 based design with some changes that made it stand out, and I personally love it. I've had one for months now, and it actually checks a lot of boxes that a factory Glock just doesn't. But apparently, unlike me, Everytown has an issue with it, and what their issue is that it also uses a cruciform trigger bar just like the models that were canceled by Glock. Not that there's anything wrong with that part or that that part is somehow defective or unsafe, no. Just that some people might do some things with it that are already highly regulated or illegal to begin with. And Everytown has latched on to that excuse to make their argument. And their argument is that it shouldn't even exist. So yesterday we learned that Everytown sent a letter to Ruger demanding exactly that. Using pressure and fear tactics, they demanded that Ruger immediately cease production of the RXM until those changes are made that can prevent someone from doing something that's, again, already illegal. Now, I'd personally use that letter to line my hamster cage, but again, that's just me. Here's an excerpt from that letter. So it says here, Ruger claims to be a model of corporate and community responsibility. For that to be more than an empty promise and for the reasons set forth more fully below, Ruger must pull the RXM from the market unless and until it changes the pistol's design. We call on the company to do so immediately. So that's classic right there. The people who want you completely defenseless are now using the moral argument. I mean, it's laughable, but it's not unexpected. California banned Glocks outright and handed groups like Everytown a major victory. And what they're doing now is they're simply building on that momentum to try and take even more. Now, does Ruger have to bow down and say, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll make those changes? Of course not. They can simply say, hey, look, we're not responsible for the misuse of our product and carry on. And I assume if they do, there'll probably be lawsuits to follow. And then states like New York and Illinois will try to ban them. But still, they don't have to back down from this. But like I said in the beginning, Pandora's box has already been opened. I mean, what's to stop these groups from going after more and more manufacturers just because someone could potentially do something that's illegal? Nothing. So it starts here, but it definitely won't stop here. Once they're done here, they'll simply move on to something else, feeling even more emboldened that they're on this winning streak. At some point, someone's going to have to stand up and say enough is enough. Now, will that someone be Ruger? We don't know yet, since they haven't publicly responded to the letter. So at this point, it's kind of a standoff, and we'll see what Ruger does. I hope they don't bow down to pressure here. I get it. It's not my company. It's not my money. It's not my responsibility. But still, from a Second Amendment perspective, I'm really hoping that somebody finally stands up and says, no, this is our design. This is the way that we made it. And even though people can do something that's already illegal with it, That's not on us. That is not our responsibility. It's law enforcement's responsibility to stop those people. So anyway, again, I hope Ruger stands up in this situation because it does have an effect on the 2A. It has an effect nationwide. So I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to let you all know what was going on here. I want to thank you all very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider hitting that subscribe button. Thumbs ups are always appreciated. And let me know what you think about today's video down in the comment section. Y'all have a good one.